And so with great pleasure, please welcome our first presenter, Lisa Passamonte-Green, CEO and Principal in Charge at Visual Terrain and TA Master.
Thanks, Evie. Hello to everyone, wherever you are. And thanks to the TA for inviting me to participate in this showcase. I'm Lisa Passamonte-Green, the founder, CEO, and Principal in Charge of Visual Terrain, an LA-based lighting design firm celebrating 29 years of lighting design for architecture, attraction, and the arts. Visual Terrain has 14 full-time employees in the US and a sister company in France called Concept Lumiere. We are proud of the diversity of our team, and we're certified as a woman-owned business by the states of California and Illinois. We like architecture with a real story to tell that we can explore with light. Light transforms the guest experience of a building by revealing the architectural features and the rich story found within. Knowing where to place a light or a shadow, when to use color, and when to employ dynamic lighting are all a part of our process. We've designed lighting for casinos, corporate headquarters, education, historical buildings, hospitality, houses of worship, libraries, lifestyle centers, municipalities, nightclubs, bars, lounges, resorts and spas, restaurants, retail, site and infrastructure, and more. I began my career with a project at Universal and a job at Disney, and several of our employees also began in themed entertainment. We're among the few lighting design companies in the world that can light an entire park, design park-wide lighting and control systems, and develop park-wide standards for projects where there are multiple lighting design firms involved. We've lit area development, aquariums, family entertainment centers, guest services, individual attractions, interactive lighting experiences, location-based entertainment, museums and traveling exhibits, whole theme parks, water parks, and zoos. I'm gonna take a breath real quick. If our attractions are our roots, arts are the seeds from which they grew. Most of our team is theatrically trained. We've designed lighting for award shows, concerts and music productions, dance shows, galas, live events, product launches, public art, and theatrical productions. And some of our designers continue to do theater on a regular basis. We also enjoy large public art projects such as Rays, pictured here. Rays at the River's Edge Park in Council Bluffs, Iowa, conceived by artist Dan Corson. This project illuminated the equivalent of 3 football fields with interactive moving lights that played with the guest in the park. So yes, we love to collaborate. We like to be brought in on a project at Blue Sky because when lighting is a part of the initial storytelling, the entire project benefits. Lighting is best not when it stands alone and calls attention to itself, but when it's integrated with all of the other facets of a project. We are constantly exploring new ways and new technologies to develop and communicate lighting designs. For example, the Rays project was the inspiration for Luminous Terrain shown here, an outdoor interactive lighting experience we designed with Bandit Lights and Beaudry Interactive. You might get the impression that we only do big, expensive projects with large budgets, but smaller, budget-conscious projects are our bread and butter. Our theatrical backgrounds have taught us how to get the job done, whatever the restrictions are that we have to deal with. Sometimes a single light is all it takes to leave a lasting impression. Whether we're telling the story of the Revenge of the Mummy ride, where we want you to be scared out of your wits, or the National World War II Museum's Freedom Theater show, pictured here, where we want you to feel pride, awe, and respect, lighting is a big part of the narrative in any project. Being thoughtful is knowing when to shine, but also knowing when to be subtle. We are thoughtful about the role of light and how to ensure other elements of the story get to shine. On top of that, we also have to be thoughtful about the budget, the installation, and the maintenance after the project opens. Visual Terrain has completed well over 1,000 projects on 6 continents. Almost all of our projects come to us from previous clients or people who left those clients and now work for new companies. Our team of 14 has over 275 years of combined experience, and each project only gives us more. When working globally, we know everything can be different when it comes to available lighting products, electrical and building codes, the procurement process, the ability of the installation crew, and the cultures and customs of the job site. It's important to have a lighting design team that knows what to expect. We are proud of our legacy of highly visible projects. The pylons at LAX are the largest public art project in the world. Visual Terrain lit them back in 2001. And if you've seen them lately, they obviously haven't been maintained and don't look so great. And we would love to relight them in time for the 2028 Olympics. Visual Terrain has received many lighting design awards of merit and excellence, starting with our first THEA award in 2000. We now have a total of 16. In 2019, I was also recognized as a TA Master of Lighting Design. And in 2024, David and I will receive the TA Peter Chernak Distinguished Service Award. We like to design every project from concept design to opening day, but not every client needs that. So Visual Terrain's flexible. We tailor our scope of work for each project's needs so we can deliver a lighting design that supports the story, fits the budget, and can meet the deadlines. We're really proud of our client list, and as you can see, it includes many of the best, brightest, and most accomplished companies in and out of the themed entertainment industry. We are honored that our clients trust us to collaborate with them and deliver the very best lighting design for their projects. Visual Terrain has the experience you can trust to take you into the future, and we constantly look ahead, trying to anticipate new trends in storytelling and experience with light as our medium. We're equipped to help your projects succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for the enlightening presentation. It's an incredible, diverse, and beautiful work that you guys do. Congrats again for winning this year's Peter Chernak Distinguished Service Award for supporting the TA above and beyond the call of duty. So thank you again to Lisa and David, who I know is also next to you. So Lisa, for Visual Terrain, you work across architecture, attractions, and the arts. Is it unique for a lighting design company to work across such diverse project types, and does it cross-pollinate creativity for the studio?
So the quick answer is that it absolutely allows us to cross-pollinate creativity, and it really widens the toolbox from which we can pull lighting fixtures or our knowledge about lighting. So we love the diversity of projects. There are a handful of companies like ours who do work in multiple areas, but it is not the norm. So traditional architectural lighting design firms tend to work in their, like, some do hospitality and some do theme parks, and they don't necessarily do both. So I think we are a little unusual in the number of different types of projects that we do.
Great. And that's what the first thing that stood out to me when I read about Visual Terrain, the diverse work that you guys do. My next question is for Lisa. You are a TA master. You have seen all kinds of work across diverse types of projects. Lisa, what is common mistakes you see in lighting design you see the most across projects? What are some of the best practices you recommend for our members to avoid them on their projects?
I love this question, because one of the most common mistakes that we see on projects is when clients or projects don't pick the right color temperature for a light. So sometimes they might pick a color temperature that's too cool or too warm for either the object that they're lighting or the story that they're trying to tell, but also culturally. So color temperature preferences vary all throughout the world. So for instance, in the US, we tend to gravitate towards warmer color temperatures in shopping and retail environments than you would find in certain parts of Asia, where they tend to go towards much cooler color temperatures in retail. So you really have to understand not only how the light gets placed, but really what are the cultural differences and what are you trying to evoke with the story? So
That's fascinating, Lisa. So there is actually a cultural preference as well in the temperature of lighting.
yes, and it's different all over the world. So
Yeah.
even if you're telling, like, if we're doing the Revenge of the Mummy here in Hollywood versus in Florida, or doing it again in Singapore, it might have similar story elements, but definitely the lighting would be different because the culture responds differently to the light where it's placed, the shadow where it's placed, and those colors, the color temperature or the colors that you're using. So it's
Great. Thank
part
you,
of what we
Lisa.
love.
Yeah, I've always thought about that aesthetic preferences could definitely be cultural, like how storytelling is can be very specifically localized. And my next question, Lisa, to you is that where do you see the biggest trends in future lighting applications? Is that more demand in environmental sustainability? Will we see more use of digital technologies, or changing or diversification of aesthetic style? Where do you see the trends going?
I do think that there's a couple different trends. I think we're going to continue to see lighting technology get more environmentally sustainable. I think that trend started in the early 2000s when you saw lighting really convert to LED lighting, and that LED lighting is only getting better and better as each year progresses. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing is interactivity and lighting. So, Chad touched upon media and content and spaces where you can walk right into these projected environments. But I see that there's a really big handshake that's going to come in the future between lighting and media and environments, and how do people really interact with light, and how does light interact with people. So that's part of, why we're excited about luminous terrain and the studies that we're doing, and how light can be a playful element. So some projects think light is only functional, but for us, especially in themed entertainment, we have to meet functional needs and safety needs, but then it really becomes another character of the story and what the guest is experiencing. So I think all of those things are exciting. And I do think, I think I saw Michael Libby was here, and, I heard him and Phil talk about AI at SAIT. And I think AI is a big topic, and I think it's a big topic even in lighting design. And I think it's going to be important for lighting designers and the people who hire lighting designers to understand that we have to curate whatever is being created visually, that we still want to really be a part of that design process, right? That I don't think AI can solve everything that a lighting designer brings to the table. So I think those are some of the challenges, and I think those are some of the things that we're going to see and deal with moving forward.
Great. We just actually had another question pop up to what you were talking about, the different abilities that lighting can do. And one is, Lisa, can you use light to move people around a space or attraction? Because it feels like light can lead the way, but maybe you need something else like sound.
No, absolutely. We can move light to move people through an attraction, and we can use light to help them find their way through an attraction. I think anybody who has heard me speak about lighting and my first project with light involved doing a play where the lighting designer I was assisting at the time did a 30-minute long cue into a very cold blue light. And I watched the audience put their coats on night after night at the exact same time when that 30-minute cool blue cue was done. And so I think lighting is really, really powerful. So it can be used to have people put their coats on. It can be used to help guide people to and from point A to point B, or story beat A to B to C. So I think it's really, that's what keeps me excited after all these years about lighting, trying to find those moments in every attraction.
Thank you, Lisa. You mentioned that you were developing some universal lighting standards. Can you please talk a little bit more about that?
So part of my background comes in the early days from having experience with show quality standards at Disney. So all of the designs that we develop for our clients, we're very keen to make sure that they are maintainable and sustainable. And when you're working on a big project, like a new whole park, or even just a new land for a project, for a park, you want to make sure that when there's multiple lighting design firms involved, that they're all working to a set of standards that will work for that park to be maintained. So part of what we do is we work with the leadership of that new project in the park to establish all of the documentation standards and maybe the performance criteria of the fixtures, so that all of the lighting designers have a common thread, because the lighting design industry by itself doesn't necessarily have the same standards for how paperwork is done, or how drawings are developed, or how fixtures are selected. So what we do is try to establish what those standards are at the beginning of a project, so any lighting designer coming into the project can meet those standards, and the project has a chance of being maintained, right, once the project is open, because all of our designs are going to be here for many years to come. You know, like Chad said, 7 to 10 years. I would point out that some attractions have been around longer than I have been around. So you want to make sure that you're providing a way for those maintenance teams to be successful once you turn them over and opening day has occurred. So that's what the standards are about.
Great. That sounds, I think you want to have a level playing field of understanding that always helps the project move towards a common goal, right?
Right.
And so I think we're very lucky today to have the two experts, so I can't miss asking this question. So other than increasing visual immersion, this is a question both for Chad and for Lisa. Obviously we'll see new and bigger large scale ways of projection, but other than sort of like projection technology, what other trends do you think you'll see or will see in the industry for future immersive technologies? And maybe Lisa, you're unmuted, so maybe you want to answer that.
So I get to go first. No, Chad. I think that's a tough question, right? Because we're in the industry where we're always creating and developing something that's never been done before. So I think we're going to continue to see those trends where we continue to push the envelope. You know, Chad and I have spoken getting ready for today's session about the fact that I really think that people have to understand that both media and video and lighting, it's all light. It's all pixels of light. And so how that interaction happens and how we play together in a project, we have the ability to do that in ways that we never did before. Like when I think about when I first started my company, it was often that the media or the video people would be in their silo and we would be in our silo, and we would be told stay away from each other, right? Where now I think we can really play together in one space and really enhance and immerse the guest in new ways. So I'm really excited about that and looking about how that works in the future.
What is your approach to work with other stakeholders under pressure? Do you stick to the lighting principles, or do you get involved with the story?
We always get involved with the story, but using light to tell that story. So, I mean, I think We really thrive, and I think our projects thrive from the collaboration between lighting and all the other disciplines and all the other stakeholders. And I think we're always doing it for the good of the overall story, the overall guest experience, right? So I think for us, those are so intrinsically tied together that it's just the way that we operate on every project. So I hope that answers that question. But
Yeah, no, I think the great benefit of being a TA member is that, we know how to reach out to you and get to know you more. And so if the person asking the question, feel free to reach out to Lisa if you want to exchange with her on the subject. But I do want to leave some time for this question. I think it's a next gen question, both to Chad and to Lisa, because it's great that we learn more about your companies, but also learn more about you. And so this is question for both of you. There is an audience that is just with us, just beginning his or her career in design, and I'm trying to understand where he or she fits and what path will suit me best, like the audience best. Can you please share a little bit about your journey in the design world?
I think, Chad, you said it really great, which is the TA is all about connections. And I would say that what's so exciting to me about the generation coming into themed entertainment now is you have so many opportunities to make connections in a way that was not possible when I entered theme entertainment. It was much harder 35 years ago to find those connections, right? So I would also say this because I hear this a lot from people coming into the industry, no matter what age, whether they're coming out of school or whether they're coming in later in their career, they're looking for the path. And I would say there are multiple paths and there are multiple ways into the themed entertainment industry. So say yes to every job that comes your way. Say yes to any opportunity, whether you think it's exactly in your field or not, because that first opportunity might open the door to the field or the part of the industry that you really want to be in. But don't limit yourself by thinking you have to find the one and only true path. It will kind of reveal itself. That's what the beauty of this industry is. And those of us who are masters, there's 35 of us now, I think. All of us will tell you that we didn't have a direct way into the industry. We all came from diverse and very different backgrounds, and we all found our way and we made our way. And all of us did that by just simply saying, yes, that sounds interesting. I'm going to try that. I may not know anything about being a show ride engineer, but I'm pretty good at writing, or I know how to light plays, but I don't know how to light a roller coaster yet, but I'm willing to learn, right? So I really just encourage you to come in, reach out, connect with fellow TEA members, connect with any and all of the TEA masters. One of my early mentors, I was fortunate enough to work down at Disneyland and share a cubicle with Leota Toombs, Madame Leota. And she was not at all a lighting designer, but she was one of my best mentors because she taught me a lot about the park and how to be a woman in the industry and how to do projects. So I think my long answer is just jump in. The water's fine. Come join us and come for the adventure.
Come for the adventure. I love that, Chad and Lisa. So I hope that answers our next gen question. That keep an open mind, build your connections, and do not write a specific path yourself, and let it adventure takes you where you'll be. And so as we're winding down today's session, I do want to leave with that question of, like, you have shown such diverse work, Lisa and Chad, in under 7 minutes, which is amazing. But what are the best ways for members to learn more about your company and your team? And I know we do projects sometimes that don't fit into the categories of projects, hybrid projects. And so what are the best ways for them to learn about your company, your team, and different types of projects that you do?
So first of all, I want to reiterate what Chad said. Every time we've reached out to Panasonic for a collaboration or a design question, the whole team has been great wherever we are in the world. And so I'm just going to reinforce and say, you know, we really love working with Panasonic. We think that they're a great partner. And so I would encourage you to do exactly what Chad said and reach out to her. And then when you're looking for lighting design, I would also encourage you to reach out directly to us and have that communication and question. You know, Evie, you and I talked about the fact that our website can only show so much because we have so many non-disclosure projects. And so it's better to get us on the phone and say, hey, have you done a water park? I think I've heard through the grapevine you've done them, but I don't see it on your website, and we can talk about that. Or have you done this type of project before? Or maybe are you just willing, you know, ask us if we're willing to do whatever your project is, whether it's small or whether it's large. We're going to probably say yes, because we just like doing lighting. We love applying our craft to projects of all sizes. So reach out, talk to us. I have a really friendly team. You saw their pictures. Nobody looks scary in there. We're all really good. So please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Lisa. We
Yeah.
also really love working with you. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, that's great. And that's the nature of our business, right? Our best work is under NDA. So that's why you have to reach out and ask what the possibilities are.